So I think,
Should we look at their light?
Just do that one.
Okay, I will.
all right, so here's a graph, Austin. Let's say it's y equals minus 1/3 x plus 4. Can you tell me what the slope is and the b value of this?
The slope is negative 1/3 and the b value is 4.
Okay, what does that slope mean to you when it's negative on top, or just negative in general? Can you tell me about? Go ahead.
Wouldn't that mean it goes down?
Down 1.
Yeah.
It's
And
always to
then
the right.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Sorry for interrupting you there.
Yeah.
Do you start with the slope or the b value when you're graphing?
It's the slope, right?
It's actually the b value. Somehow we got to get that down. Super important. So you go to the b. That's actually the y-intercept. That's where it crosses the y-axis. So something there like at 4, and then you're going down 1, and then right 3, something like that.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so let's take a look at another problem from last time. Let's say I ask you to solve something like this: 2 times x minus 1 greater than minus 3 times x plus 2. Okay, how would you go about solving this to start? Tell me in words, what would be the first step?
I'd distribute the 2 to the x and the negative 1.
Okay, and what does that become when you're all done?
It'd be 2x. No. It'd be 2 times negative 1, right?
That's right. So 2 times negative 1. What does that become? What is 2 times negative 1? Tell me what you're not remembering or what you're struggling.
Negative 2.
Negative 2. Good. Greater than.
Yeah, and then negative 3x. Or
Okay. Yep, because there's really a 1 there, so it's negative 3 times the 1.
and then plus the 2, so
But wait, don't you look what you did here? You distributed to both on this one on the left. What about the one on the right? Has to be the same.
Yeah, so it's negative 3 times 2, so it'd be negative 6.
Good.
Plus negative 6.
Very good here. Okay. And I think we talked about this last time. You generally move the smaller to the larger. Which is smaller, negative 3x or 2x?
Negative 3x.
Yeah. So how do you undo a negative?
You add 3 to it.
Add 3x here. Okay. On the left, what does the left side become?
5x plus negative 2.
I'm gonna write as minus 2 for now.
Okay.
Okay. And what do we do from here?
It'd be, yeah, so that cancels out, and then would you subtract 5 from 5x?
What about this minus 2 here?
Oh yeah, you would add 2 to both sides.
Okay, good. What do you get on the right-hand side?
Negative 4.
Okay. What is the last step? You're almost there.
Divide by 5 on both
Divide by
sides.
5. Good. Okay, that's fine there. So I'm still waiting for those pictures to come in. Let me check one more time. I'm sure they'll get in here shortly.
Yeah.
Let me give you a couple more. These are called two-step equations to solve. And I can just sense there's a little bit of uncertainty about how to solve them. So let's say something like 4x minus 3 equals negative 11. Okay. So to solve for x here, what you have to identify is that there's really two things that are keeping x from being by itself. There's multiplication by 4 and then subtraction by 3. Now you've probably seen this in the classroom for order of operations, right?
Yeah.
When you're solving, you go backwards, meaning you undo addition and subtraction first, then multiplication and division.
Okay.
Meaning you need to undo this subtraction by 3 before you undo the multiplication by 4. Okay, so how do you undo subtraction by 3?
You would add.
You'd add 3 to both sides. So 4x equals, what is negative 11 plus 3? Could you tell me that?
Negative 9.
Try again. I know,
Oh,
I know I'm
negative
putting you on
8.
the spot here, but you can do it.
Yeah, negative 8.
And what's the next thing to do?
Divide by 4 on both sides.
Okay, so what does X become?
Negative 2.
-2, good. Okay, do you need to get any of this down, or can I just scroll past it and give you another
Yeah, I
problem?
think I'm good on that.
Okay, let's try another one here. Let's say it's X divided by 3 minus 1 equals -6. Again, order of operations, it's great for order of operations, but you also can use it to solve by going backwards, meaning you undo addition and subtraction before multiplication
Mhm.
and division. In this problem, what will you undo first?
The x divided by 3, so you'd multiply.
But wait a second, isn't there addition and subtraction in this problem?
Oh yeah, you'd add
You have to do
one.
it first.
Okay,
Yeah. So how do you undo that?
you'd add 1 to both sides.
Okay, very good. So we have X divided by 3 equals -5. What do you do from here to solve for X? You already told
Which
me,
you
but
would multiply by 3.
that's right. What does X equal?
Negative 15.
Good. You ready to do a couple on your own here?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go 5x minus 3 equals 12. And then x over 4 plus 6 equals 1. Go ahead and try those, please. And I just want your final answer for each. Let me know when you've got an answer for one or the other.
Okay. The first one I got x equals 3,
Okay, good.
and then I'm working on the second one.
Sounds good.
And then is the second one x equals negative 20?
You got it. Very good. Okay, now I saw this towards the end of your practice set, and I was wondering how comfortable you were with the compound inequalities. So I thought we'd look at one.
Okay.
Let's say it's -5 less than x plus 2 less than 9. Do you remember from section 5.4, which I don't think means anything to you, but what do you remember what to do to solve this, something like this?
I'm pretty sure it's like 3 different like sides to it. So like whatever you do to one, you do to all 3. So
Yeah, it's
you
kind of weird. I mean, it's kind of like walls. I don't know if you sure, but the walls there. Yeah.
so yeah, would you like subtract 2 and then do it to all 3 sides? Yeah.
Yes. So give me the two numbers that go on the outside.
So the first side, would that be -7?
Good.
And then 7.
Yes. So the way this is read, and I think it's very important, is x is between -7 and 7. That's how this is read.
Mhm.
You could say -7 less than x less than 7, but in terms of like something that's more meaningful, you would say x is between.
Mhm.
Now, between is more important when you're graphing.
Okay.
So I like to call this the inside. Between it refers to inside. So imagine there's 7 and there's +7 on your number line. Is
Mhm.
it a filled in or a not filled in circle at each of those points?
Not filled in.
Not filled in. And then between means you're graphing in
Yeah.
between, obviously. Okay.
Mhm.
So finally got it's not finally, I apologize. I got the scan here. So let me grab some of these questions for us to look at
Okay.
and work through it here. So for like next semester, we're going to be able to hit this stuff really well in the beginning, and you won't have so many corrections to do. But we got
Yeah.
we don't have much we can do here.
Mhm.
All right. Okay, so I guess I'll just go through the ones you got wrong for now. Sorry, that's so negative. I mean, it's unfortunate, but
Yeah,
that's
so-
kind of how this goes.
mhm.
It's like, you scored 10 points in the game, but you had, 3 turnovers, and that's what the coach wants to focus on.
Mhm.
It's like, but hey, I did a good job. All right. So we've looked at a problem like this already. So this shouldn't be too bad here. Inequality stuff. The distributive property, you mentioned that to me first thing on Sunday. Like, hey, this is something I'm not sure about.
Mhm.
You have to distribute that -5 to both of these.
Yeah.
Could you attempt that for me and let me know what you come up with when you distribute?
Yeah, so when you distribute, it'd be -5W, and then
Exactly.
would you add, like,
You're
so you
multiplying.
multiply -5 and 7, but would you like put a plus sign in between -5W and that?
Yes. You kind of
Okay.
bring that down. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it'd be -35.
Right. And so this is where you get a choice. You get to say, okay, I either like it as the way it's written, or you can write it like this: -5W -35. Both are correct. One isn't like better than another.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter to me. You got to decide which one you like. Which one do you like, by the way?
I like the plus in between.
Okay. All right. So greater than or equal to, same thing here. You have to take that 3, multiply by each of these.
So it'd be 12W and then plus 15.
Okay. Plus 18 over here. It's always good to combine like terms, but you combine them only on the side that they're on. So like the 15 and 18 you can combine in that
Mhm.
step. All right, so that's 12W plus 33.
Mhm.
I've said this a few times, but I want to see if you can either remember or tell me which way do we move? Do we move the 12W left or the -5W right?
Um, it's move the 12W left, right?
So my preference, I mean, if I were in a classroom, I would teach this way: smaller to larger.
Mhm.
And I like stuff like that because it always works. Like, you don't have to like remember what if it's positive, what if it's negative. You just have to figure out which is smaller, meaning
Yeah.
which one is more left on the number line. So
Mhm.
my preference would be to move the -5W to the right.
Okay.
Um, and this is like one of those things, like when coach tells you something, or so, like, you got to find a way to like let that be ingrained in your memory.
Mhm.
Um, so I suggest we do it this way. There are long-term benefits to doing it this way.
Okay.
We've got -35 greater than or equal to 17W plus 33. Now, what say you? What do you see here in terms of solving this?
Um, you want the 17W on the left side of.
Well, yeah, we can do that at the end though.
Mhm.
So just imagine. I mean, I know it's a little bit different because the variable's on the right, but it's totally okay. If you're simplifying, you would go this direction. When you're solving, you're going backwards. You want to undo addition and subtraction here. Here's the addition or
So
subtraction.
would you subtract 33 from both sides?
Yeah. Okay. So that's -68 greater than or equal to 17W. We will eventually move the W, but let's isolate it first.
Mhm.
What is left to isolate W?
To divide by 17.
Yes. And are you allowed to use a calculator on this test, or is this something you do by hand?
Yeah, you can use the calculator.
Okay. Well, if you have one now, feel free to
Okay.
grab it. I'll just because we don't have a ton of time, I'll just throw the answer there. All right. Now this is correct, but it's not preferred. Like, it's written oddly. You mentioned that earlier. Like, hey, shouldn't the variable be on the left? Yes, it
Mhm.
should. It
Okay.
reads better that way.
Mhm.
How how could you try rewriting this so that the variable is on the left? Or if you're not sure, just say so, and I will.
Yeah, you like, so you would flip it by putting the W on the left side, and then you change like the the greater than to less than, pointing
Yeah.
towards the -4.
I hope you wrote this. I heard a lot of things. Hopefully that is what you wrote.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you didn't, we can talk about that, because it's really important that this step, because I think it's easier to do this at the end than to sit there and like make W negative and maybe divide by it. Try to avoid that. Now, in terms of a number line, if this is 0, -1, -2, -3, -4, is it a filled in or open circle on -4?
Filled in.
Okay, and do you shade left or right?
If it's pointing left, does that mean you shade
Yes.
left?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Any questions on that?
No.
One of the nice things I see here is that your absolute value and your kind of other inequalities are really good.
Mhm.
So I mean, that's, to me, that's really good. I thought we were gonna have to spend some time working
Yeah.
on that. But you got that down. Okay, let's go to number 8 next. We'll do 6 and 7, but eight's a good one for us to look at.
Mhm.
All right, it says to use a graph to solve the inequality. We'll get to the graphing, but imagine I just said, hey, I need you to solve this inequality. I'll write the order of operations thing again, but you're going to go to the left here.
Mhm.
How do you solve for x? What is, you have to think to yourself, what is keeping x from being alone? It's being multiplied by -4 and added to
Yeah.
by 7. So which
Yeah,
do you
it's multiplying, so I'd add 4 to it.
but it's not, 4 is not being added to it. 4 is multiplying it.
Oh, so I'd divide.
But what about the 7?
Oh yeah, I forgot. So we're going left, so you'd subtract 7.
Yes. Now, so hang on a second. Give me some feedback, because obviously I can't read your body language. Like, something about this is not clear to you, and I don't know what it is. You said you forgot. I want to help you. So what do you think it is that's not meshing here?
Um, I think like because I'm used to going left to right, like not going right to left on here.
That makes sense to me. Yeah. I mean, we usually go left to right. We read left to right. We do a lot of things left to right.
Mhm.
Somehow, and I, like colored pencils are good, and you probably don't have those, and it's kind of, not, maybe not a guy thing to do, but somehow you have to like focus on those two things and be
Mhm.
like, all right, that's addition and subtraction. The other one is multiplication and division. And somehow you have to, like, you need to convince yourself, like, oh yeah, I got to look at the one that's undone first, which is the addition and subtraction.
So do you know like which ones that this will happen on? Like when I go right to left?
You can't. So the mistake that is the fundamental mistake is to think, oh, I just go left to right.
Mhm.
Because another way this problem could be written, I'll just throw this down here, it could be 7 minus 4x less than 19.
Mhm.
And then it does work. You're like, oh, I'll undo 7 first.
Yeah.
But you got to be careful there, because it doesn't always work.
Mhm.
And that's what I'm concerned about here. So what I suggest is somehow fixing your attention on like the left side of this, and like making, almost making a list. Like, what do you see?
Mhm.
I see -4x time. I mean, it's -4 times x and adding 7. So let me undo the addition first. I don't know. I can make an analogy to some other things, but like, that's important to know. That's important for me to help you. So
Yeah.
let's subtract 7 from both sides.
Mhm.
And what is the next step here to solving for x?
To divide by 4
Not
or
4.
-4. Yeah,
Yeah,
negative.
whatever's in front of x. Now, we mentioned this 2 days ago. When you multiply or divide by a negative, what do you do to the inequality?
Flip it.
Yeah, and do that first, because you'll forget. I mean, I forget. Sometimes doesn't happen. Okay, so if this were on a number line, which is not what it asks for, but we might as well do it on a number line for the moment. Let's say that's 0, 1, 2, 3, -3. Do you shade left or right?
All right.
Right, yeah. Okay, now I can't remember. Do you get a note card for your
Yeah.
okay. So this might be worth going on a note card. X equals a number is always a vertical line. And similarly, y equals a number is a horizontal line.
Mhm.
So what some instructors like to do is they give you the X1 on the practice exam and then the Y1 on the real exam. The reason I'm writing that may be useful on your note card is in your graph on your piece of paper there, you're trying to graph X greater than 3.
Mhm.
And so there's a bit to this. Like you have to first realize, oh, this is kind of like X equals 3.
Yeah.
X equals 3 is this vertical line right here. But, and very important, the greater than means it's got to be a dashed line.
Okay.
I know there's a lot there. It's like, oh my God, how many things I got to remember? I wish it were easier, but there's just a lot of like little nuanced things.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, the nice thing here is the shading is just like you do on a number line. Do you shade to the right of that or the left of that?
Um, the right because it's pointing to the right.
That's exactly correct. Something like that.
Mhm.
So let's have you try one kind of like this, if that's okay. Any questions on this?
No.
All right, let's try 12 greater than negative 3y plus 6. So the first thing I want you to do is to solve for y.
Mhm.
If you have any questions, please let me know.
Okay.
Work that out on your own, please. How are you doing on this one, Austin?
Yeah, I got stuck. So
Okay,
after
what did you try first?
I added 3 to 3y.
All right, so that's still kind of the issue. So I want you to focus in on the left side here. I want you to read this out loud for me. Read what you see here.
Negative 3y plus 6.
Okay, so that's correct, but you could say negative 3 times y plus 6, and that helps you to identify the math operations. Times is multiply, plus is adding. Which do you undo first, addition or multiplication?
Addition.
Yeah, so we got to undo the addition by 6.
Okay.
And do you do that by subtracting 6 from both sides?
Yeah.
So we have 6 greater than minus 3y.
And then you could divide by 3 or
Not
negative
3.
3.
Yeah, negative 3. Negative 3. Yeah. Now, what does that do to the inequality?
Flips it.
Flips it. So it becomes the other direction. All right. What is 6 divided by negative 3?
Negative 2.
Negative 2. Good. Now, in terms of this inequality, we really want the variable on the left.
Mm-hmm.
Can you rewrite this for me?
Yeah, it'd be y is greater than -2.
Perfect. Now, is y equals a number a horizontal or vertical line?
Horizontal.
It's horizontal. Okay, so if we go to our graph here, -2 is down here. It's dashed. It's dashed because it's greater than.
Mm-hmm.
This is y equals 2. Now, do you shade above or below it? This kind of tells you the greater than.
Yeah,
Maybe
above.
above. Okay, good. Got that. All right, let's do a couple more of these. I got to get you to. So really, this is key here when you're focusing in on the side with the variable. You have to say to yourself, what are the math operations like times and plus? And you're more than capable of doing this. Like, this is not beyond you. Totally able to do this. 4 plus 2x less than let's go 12. So I want you to look at the left side because the variable's there and tell me what you see. Like, I see 4 and it's blank math operation.
Yeah.
I see 2 and it's blank math operation.
Mm-hmm. So I'd subtract 4 from both sides.
Right. Now that 4 is really positive, but it's not written.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree. Subtract 4, 2x less than 8. Now what do you do?
Divide by 2 on both sides.
Good. Okay, let me give you another one here. That was too easy for you. 9 less than or equal to -2x plus 1.
So you subtract 1 from both sides.
Yeah, why don't you work this one out? Give me
Okay.
your final answer here.
I got x is less than or equal to -4.
Okay. So what's the worst punishment you get in basketball practice if you mess up? What do you guys have to do?
Probably sprints.
Sprint. Okay. So how confident are your answer? Like, would you be willing to do an extra sprint if this was wrong? And I'm just asking just to see, like, gauge your confidence. I'm not going to ask you to do a sprint or anything like that. But how do you feel about this?
Wait, did I flip the
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just trying to gauge your confidence level for
I
this.
think I'm pretty sure it's right.
Okay, so let me work this out. Subtract 1 from both sides. 8
Mm.
less than or equal to -2x. Divide both sides by -2. Now that flips the inequality.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you rewrite it so that the variable's on the left. You're
Mm-hmm.
completely correct. Good.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions on that?
No.
All right. Okay. All right. So the next type of questions I'm seeing that there were some issues with are these translation questions.
Mm-hmm.
Are you taking a foreign language right now?
No.
No?
Not
Okay.
yet.
All right. So this says 4 times the sum of a number W and 3 is less than 5 times the same number W decreased by 13. What do I want to say here? So there's kind of one word that I think needs to stand out to you when you look at this. The is always an equal sign,
Yeah.
and there's your is. So that's got to be your kind of your dividing line here.
Okay.
Then maybe you thought, okay, I'm in the inequality section of the course, so I need to put an inequality, but that's what you got there.
Mhm.
So 4 times the sum of a number W and 3. Okay, so
Mhm.
this sum, what math operation does sum refer to?
Adding.
Adding. So it's W and 3. So that would be W plus 3.
Mhm.
And then 4 times that. 4 times that.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me not to just tell you the answer here. And you did get that. That's really good.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I misread this. So I messed this up too. Is less than is an inequality. Is less than. Sorry about that.
You're
Something
good.
else. 5 times the same number W decreased by 13. So actually, this is totally correct. This is completely correct. This is actually your first line as well. We did a couple of these earlier. What's the first thing to do here to solve for W?
To add 13 to both sides.
What about this 4 on the outside here?
To distribute, so it'd
Yeah.
be 4W plus 12.
All right. I'd like you to solve this from here, please, and give me your final answer.
Okay. I think I messed up somewhere.
Okay. Tell me what you did first.
I added 13 to both sides.
Okay, that makes sense if there's only a variable on one side. And
Okay.
you can do that. I'll just say, yeah, let's just do that. Okay. So it's 4W plus 25 is less than 5W. Did you write that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there's no issue there. So let's keep going here. When you're moving variables, there are specific language I've said it a couple of times tonight. It's the smaller to the larger.
Yeah.
So which are you moving? What are you moving in which direction?
The 4W to the right.
So you subtract 4W from both sides. 25 less than W. Is this your final answer?
No, you'd have to move the W to the left side.
Okay. And then how would you write that?
W is greater than 25.
Yeah, just having a little technology thing here. Just a moment. W greater than 25, like this.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Okay. All right. So, oh, I know what I wanted to say. There was in this previous problem, it said is less than,
Mm-hmm.
and that corresponds to this symbol here. Is more than corresponds to this symbol here.
Okay.
The next one here is at least.
Mm-hmm.
At least is greater than or equal to. And then at most is less than or equal to.
Yeah.
Now, a long time ago, land far away, I would make index cards, with the left side and the right side. Okay. Because we didn't have Quizlet back then. We didn't have
Mm-hmm.
anything. We just, you just had to come figure out. You have to memorize this. Like you cannot get out of you have to know these things really well to be able to do this part of the course, to be able to convert those sentences, those into expressions and equations.
Mm-hmm.
So somehow you have to commit these to memory. You're definitely capable of doing. That's why I was asking you if you did language yet, because it's kind of memorization stuff.
Mhm.
And there's other variations on this, but these are kind of the main ones. Obviously there's greater than. They could just come out and say greater than. They could come out and say less than,
Uh-huh.
but they're gonna probably use one of these other words.
Okay.
So let me grab your next question here. And this would be good to maybe put on your note card.
Yeah, yeah. I will.
You may find you may know it by the exam. You can
Mhm.
put something else down. All right, so here is your one of your other problems here. I'm going to write down two possible answers, and
Mhm.
you're going to tell me which one is correct. Let me grab this, move this down. All right, 2x to m, 2m plus 9, or 2m plus 9, which is correct?
The sum of twice the number m and 9 is at least. So it would be at least it would be the left one.
Here's at least.
Oh. Oh yeah. Wait.
Sorry, now maybe I didn't give you time to write that down, but yes, the at least is the one on the right.
Oh yeah, because it's talking about the 25. Okay, yeah, I get it.
So it's read left to right,
Mhm.
written left to right. So we got this. All right. So this is good. This is good for you. I want you to solve for m, but before you do, I want you to tell me what steps you're going to take. Tell me, try to explain it to me before you work it out. What are you going to undo first?
The 9.
Yes. And you're going to subtract 9 to undo that.
And then divide by 2 on both sides.
Okay. So give me your final answer.
M is greater than or equal to 8.
Good. Okay. So the initial concern I had was like whether you could actually write these out. You're actually pretty solid on that. It's just the solving that I think is, still to be worked on, but you're really close, really close here.
Mhm.
All right. Story problems. All right, so you're gonna get a question like 18 on your final. Let's look at 18 together. Okay, so to do 18, this is an equation of a line.
Mhm.
And you might be saying, well, didn't we do something like this earlier? Let me go back and show you those problems. See how there's both an X and a Y in this?
Yeah.
If you go back, which you have to wait for me to do, this equation that we started with only had a Y.
Mhm.
And then this problem above it, it only had an X in it. Here it is.
Yeah.
So when it has both an X and a Y, it's generally going to be something that goes, like this or to the right, something like that, up to the right, down to the left, something.
Mhm.
Okay. So this is in the form y equals mx plus b. That might be something to write down.
Yeah.
M is the slope. B is the y-intercept, or where it crosses the y-axis.
Mhm.
Can you tell me the value of m and the value of b, please?
2x is the slope, and then 4 is b.
The slope is a number. It never contains x. Never.
Okay.
It's just a number because it tells you rise and run. You told me that earlier. Like, all right, it's negative 1/3 or something. I asked you, and you're like down 1, right 3. The slope is a number.
Mhm.
Now, from earlier, do you remember which do you start with when you're graphing? Is it the slope or the y-intercept?
No, y-intercept.
Y-intercept. So here we go. I'm gonna go to my graph and I'm like, all right, there's 4. Slope of 2 is really 2 over 1.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me in words how I'm gonna move from this point right here using that slope of 2 over 1?
Yeah, would you go down 2 and then to the right one?
That would be true if it was -2.
Oh, so up 2 and then to the right one.
Right, so positive slope,
Mm-hmm.
somehow we've got to get you to, that means you're going up and then
Okay.
right.
Okay.
I would write all this down, you know, your note card will get, feel like it's overwhelmed, but you may cut it out. Negative slope goes down and to the right. Like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna go up 2 and right 1.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that. So your graph, we don't have a ton of time to talk about graphing, but let's do that. Let's just get the line down. Now, why is it a solid line?
Because it's equal to.
Exactly. So if it were like a less than, it would be a dashed line. Now, I don't know if you still have your exam up in front of you, the page with 15, I guess it's 15. I don't know if I said 18. To me, it looks like 2 of the graphs. Well, at least the top right one is a dashed line. I can't tell if the lower right one is. Maybe it's a solid. I think it's solid. But you can get rid of some of the answers.
Yeah.
And that's something you're going to want to do. Maybe we'll talk about that more on Thursday. That's something you're going to want to do, is try to eliminate answers, because the goal here is to get the correct answer, however possible,
Mm-hmm.
to increase your grade. Okay, now in terms of which side you shade, do you remember that from class? How do you decide
Yeah.
whether it's the right or the left? Do you remember?
It'd be above it because it's greater than, right?
Isn't it read as less than?
Oh
Less
yeah,
than.
yeah. I thought, yeah, less than, so it'd be
So
below.
again, maybe that's something else to put down. Less than or equal to is below, greater than or equal to is above. It might be something good to put down in your note sheet. So we're going to do another problem like this. Did you get all this down? Anything you?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. All right. So let's say y greater than -1/2 x minus 1. Could you tell me the slope and the b value?
Yeah, -1/2 is m, and then -1 is b.
Good. Now, is it a solid or a dashed line?
Dash.
Dashed. And see how I'm writing it? I want you to do the same thing, or somehow make a note, even if you want to just do something like that. You don't want to forget, and
Okay.
easy to do that. Start with the b value of -1.
Yep.
And tell me about the slope period. Give me some words to describe that, please.
So you'd go down 1 and then to the right 2.
Perfect. Down 1, right 2, and you keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
If you do have to go backwards, you try to figure out the point such that if you go down 1 and right 2, you get back to it.
Mm-hmm.
Dashed line. Does your instructor require you to use a ruler? Well, it's multiple choice. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay. So presumably there would be one multiple choice answer that has like a solid line. You'd get rid of that one. Now, are you shading above it or below it?
Above it.
Y greater than is above it.
Yes.
Okay. Very good. There's so many exceptions in math. I know how frustrating this is to hear, but these things right here, they only work when you've solved for Y.
Okay.
They don't work if Y is not by itself, or there could be an exception and you're like, why didn't I, how come I didn't know that?
Mm-hmm.
They don't normally check for exceptions on finals. Like, they're just trying to get the stuff that you're supposed to know on there.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to save 10 and 11 for our next lesson, but let's do a couple more solving inequalities.
Okay.
problem here. Also give you a really important before our next meeting is to really figure out what you want to work on for the final.
Okay.
But here's a problem for you to look at. I'd like you to try and solve this on your own. If you have questions, please ask.
Okay. So when I'm combining the like terms, I do negative 2x and negative 3x, right?
They're not on the same side of the equation, so you have to move one.
Oh,
One or
so
the
I
other.
would have to divide by negative 2x.
No, you want to move it. You want to move it here. So like it's the smaller to the larger.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So this is okay. This gives me some more insight into how to best help you. It's x plus 4 greater than or equal to 7. How do you solve this from here?
X plus 4 greater than or equal to would you or no, you divide by 4 on both sides?
But what is the math operation there?
Adding, so you subtract.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay. Um, all right. So I mean, this helps me to be able to better help you for Thursday. If you can prepare as much as you can a list of just a few things that you want to work on, pick the
Mm-hmm.
things that you don't know. Don't pick stuff that you do know. That doesn't help us at all. Um,
Yeah.
if your mom needs some feedback, I'll be happy to talk to her tomorrow. I'm just on a pretty tight schedule tonight with a lot of
Yeah.
lessons. But look, there's some improvement here. Just if you have time, go back and watch the video. Try to redo the problems if you can. It will
Mm-hmm.
definitely help. Try to think about the words I'm saying, not so much the steps. Like the words are what you're going to remember when you're on the
Okay.
exam. But that is it, and I'll see you on Thursday.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye now.
Bye.